Hey guys. So I know it is a holiday today, and so I just want to put it out there first that I have all respect for that today is Remembrance Day, and I think it's really important for us to truly honor that. Um, so if you are from Saskatchewan, it's looking like I'm not paying attention to the 11 o'clock, but I am totally paying attention to the 11 o'clock, and it's super important to me. But I haven't been on here live, and I wanted to do this live for like, it feels like a week. I think it was almost a week ago. And even, I don't know what it looks like in your screen, but when I write in victim consciousness, it comes up backwards on my screen. It's really interesting. But it's something that's like super heavy on my heart. I know a few people are struggling with some of this, and this is something that we really work through in Create Your Happy, my program for entrepreneurs. So victim consciousness is something that we all have. So this isn't like I'm going to give you a couple of signs and you're like, I don't check all those boxes, so I don't have victim consciousness. We all have victim consciousness. So think of it like victim versus survivor. Most of us think of ourselves like survivor. For myself, I'm like, oh yeah, I've been through some tough times. I've seen some stuff. I have come out on top. I am like kicking butt, all the things. So I think of myself as a survivor, but until I went into like kind of dove into this victim consciousness, then I was like, oh, wait a second, I do have some victim consciousness. So I want you to just accept that, be okay with it. It's totally okay. I'm going to give you a couple of quick signs that you might have slipped into the victim role, just so you can see on the other side, and it's okay to be in that victim side. So I'm not talking about like major life circumstances or yucky stuff that goes on. I'm just talking about the everyday regular life stuff, okay? So signs that you may have accepted the victim role. And keep in mind that some of these are more extreme than others. One is that you have regular or daily thoughts about how you've been mistreated. And so if you're like, we think in movies, right? So we play that script over and over of this hard time or altercation we went through or something that wasn't just like super pleasant. We replay those things. What should I have said? What should they have said? Should I have just walked away? Should I have hung up the phone? Da 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 da. All those things. When you're replaying that, you're actually in the victim role. Okay, so just think about it that way, that you were victimizing yourself there. So I want you to just take these with a grain of salt, but know that just bring that new awareness to yourself. When you feel unable to succeed at anything because of your history. So if you find yourself stuck in the same job or a relationship that you don't enjoy or your home, whatever that looks like for you, are you stuck there because of what the past has brought you to this point? Do you look at it that way? Because that is really being in a victim conscious mode, which kind of plays into the next sign of accepting the victim role. You aren't able to sustain relationships because of your past experience. So some, like the history of victimization, being stuck in a relationship or being stuck single. I see this happen a lot. Or for women, for myself, that go through a miscarriage and they're like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to carry another baby to term. Oh, that happened. So what's any different this time? I don't know why that happened. And so sustaining a new relationship, let's talk about for a second, has nothing to do with the past relationship. We can go forward and be fully loved, hey Noelle, fully loved, or we can carry a baby to term. Just because that happened in the past doesn't mean that's going to happen this time. So don't get stuck in that. Sometimes we tend to blame others or circumstances for our inability to move forward. So just get like super real with yourself. Are you blaming circumstances to why you're not taking the next step towards your dreams or towards your family or towards the next house or towards the new career or whatever that looks like for you? Are you just like staying stuck in that moment and blaming others and circumstances for that? This was a big one for me. You see yourself as damaged permanently. So if I am completely transparent with you guys, which I try to always be, this really stuck with me. I thought I was like really broken and that I could never get over all of the things. There was a time in my life where it was like felt like every single area of my life was a little bit broken up here. Not on the outside, but up here I felt broken. And so just like getting super aware of that and accepting that everybody is broken and that is so beautiful and it's okay. You can have a negative reel of thoughts running through your mind daily. This is also victim consciousness, like I kind of said before. So whether that's from childhood or adulthood, yesterday, 20 years ago, constantly replaying that crap from that event or situation or circumstance is not good for you. So I want to give you a couple of steps because I can't go into like the full mode of this. We would be here forever. But once you've recognized and realized and become aware that you are playing the victim role sometimes, even if we are kick butt survivors and we're very like take the bull by the horns type of people, we can slip into that victimization. We just don't necessarily realize it, okay? So one, here's a couple tools. One, get help. This is totally what I do. And I'm not just saying that on here, but get help from somebody that can have a clean slate about it all, that is going to look at it from a different perspective than you and isn't going to have any emotional attachment to it. So this doesn't often work very well with our spouses or our parents or our best friends because they have that emotional attachment. They want us to feel so good and lift us up and stuff. And I want you to feel good too, but I want you to get super real and honest and dig in to why you aren't moving ahead on these things, okay? 2, look at your mindset about it all. You definitely had those experiences, but let's detach from them. Kind of like I was saying with your family members or your best friend or your spouse or whatever that looks like. We want to detach from our stuff. We don't want to not feel feelings, but when it's past stuff, we want to be able to look at it a little bit differently so that we don't carry it into every area of our life. And here's the thing, mindset carries into every single area of your life. It's parenting, it's how you are with your spouse, it's how you are with your work, it's where it shows up in your finances. I'm working on Rock Your Money Mindset, my mini course with a few amazing people, and it shows up there, guys. That's where like the little break is up here often, is when if we're not feeling like super financially secure, it's because there's some breakage up here that we can just like work through. 3, take responsibility. So stop blaming others or circumstances. However, some of you in here are taking too much responsibility, like too much. I see this often with people that are really close to me because like attracts like, right? And so you need to just like take a step back and really look at who should be responsible in this situation. Am I blaming somebody else for how I'm feeling? No, you guys, we are in control of how we feel. Yes, there's circumstances, but it ultimately comes down to how we feel. So number 4 is write it all out. Make a list of all experiences, good and bad, that have shaped who you are today, and just take the 20 minutes to do it. Number 5 is be graceful to yourself, be so kind to yourself, but be firm with yourself. Decide, I don't want to carry that forward anymore. I don't want to be in this victim consciousness mode any longer. So draw the line in the sand. No more, I'm not carrying this forward. Look at negative experiences as pivot points, as spots where it's like, I learned something and now I'm going to go a little bit more on this path, or now I know I want to jump ahead to that. Negative experiences always teach us something. So when you are having grace with yourself, but being firm with yourself, give yourself lots of love. Chances are a lot of these things carry through from childhood. Just saying, if you get super real about it, when you start to like dig into peel back those layers of onions, that's where it all comes back to. But just like know that you can make some changes and that you can do it in a loving but firm way for yourself. So I'm sending you guys so much love today. Go have an amazing Monday, and I'll be live again in here next week because I'm not sick anymore. Even though I kind of feel like I sound stuffy when I talk, but I don't feel sick.